So for part 2 of the series for FL Basics, we're gonna make our first song. So how I usually start is either make a drum beat or start with some chords. Today we're gonna start with a drum beat. So I'm just gonna use the standard drums here. We're just gonna make like a melodic house song. So I'm gonna put the tempo to 125. Put 4 kicks in on every first beat. You can also right click and say fill each 4 steps. So I'm just gonna fill in the kick first. Let's do it until 16 bars. Then what I want to do is make a new pattern, and I want to put in some chords. So you can click here, the plus button, or you can click here on the left top, add. We can click here and we can, let's add something standard. Let's add the FL keys, which is a piano. Let's choose the Rhodes. You can use your keyboard on your computer to play the notes. Alright, and we can play with some effects here. So let's do release a little bit more, which makes the sound go on for longer. So it doesn't stop directly. And the overdrive to make it a little bit more distorted sounding. Alright. Now if we go back and right click piano roll, we have all the notes here. If you don't see the notes, you can go to the left top and press view and then keyboard labels, all notes. Sometimes it's set to none, so we have to select all notes. Yeah, if you want to know chords, it also helps you with that. So you can click this button right here, and for example it can give you a major, a minor, which are the standards. If you click it and you go to like G and play it, let's do it 1 octave lower, you get the G. So basic music theory, we usually always start at C, which is the root note, the basic root note. So we have minor and major chords, which are the basic chords. So minor sounds sad, major sounds happy. So let's make a song in the key C. So all the notes that belong to, let's make it in C minor. I will draw in all the notes that belong to C minor, and you will hear it as well. So these are all in C minor, so you can use all these notes and it will always sound good. If we want to do it in major, this is the major scale. And this is the minor scale for C. So we can put this on any note and it will be the same. So this applies to any note. Alright, let's draw in our first chord progression in C. So let's take one bar. So this is C minor, which is always then the C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 3 and 7. Can we put a sustain on this? Alright. So this is our root notes, root chords. And then we, for example, want to go down. So we know that if we draw again, so these are all in there. So if we want to go down, we see beneath the C, because here it starts over again. This is the next octave, as we say it. So if we want to go down, we can choose the A sharp, the A with the bracket. So 1, 2, 3. Actually, the this doesn't go to the third because the note is not in the scale. So you know then that this has to be the major chord. So instead of the thirds, we go to the fourth. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The seventh always stays in. So then we get this. Alright, let's drag this to the right. And let's go down one more. So we see the G is the next one. So let's select that. And once again, there's no third. 1, 2, 3 in the scale. So we take the fourth, which is the major again for G sharp, and then the seventh again. So then we get this. Alright. And we can go back one. And you can play around with these. So you could do this double. You could do this as the second one. You could switch these around. You can either use the select right here, and then go back to your pencil or your paintbrush. I usually use paintbrush, and we can just switch these around. Right click to deselect. You can also select using Ctrl Shift, and then we can move it around as well. Alright, so let's remove these. And now we have a basic progression, and now we can go back to the playlist. We have our paintbrush selected, and we can put in our chords. And if we play it, we have our first melodic beats. Alright, so next we might want to add a bass. So let's take Bass, which is also a free plugin with FL. Let's select a new pattern, and then right click Bass, go to piano roll. So if we remembered correctly, we went from C to A sharp to G sharp, back to A sharp, And for this we can either do a sustained bass, so it keeps the note on, or we can do plucked basses. For this we're gonna do plucked basses. So this is very like straightforward pattern rhythm, which is on the beat and also between the beats. So 8th note we call it. You can also do it a little bit faster. We have 16th notes. Also, if we want to make the view smaller or larger, because now I have set it at line. So with the magnet you can also do 1/4 step, which is even smaller if you might need it. Alright, so let's keep it at line for now. Let's make this this is a little bit more advanced rhythm. I make it 2 squares big, and then instead of going here on the second beat, I go 1 square before that, and I keep 1 square between them. So this sounds like this, and it's a little bit sounding offbeat. And we can select this, Ctrl C, Ctrl V, and put it on the A sharp, Ctrl V, put it on the G sharp, back to the A sharp. Alright, and now if we go back to the playlist, we can paste the bass, and it will sound like this. Alright, now we have our bass, and let's add a melody on top of it. So let's choose another free synth. I think SimSynth is free. Let's choose a preset. So click here and let's choose something nice. I don't like that guitar, maybe. Let's choose this brass. Okay, this is all gonna be explained later, so let's just keep it like this. Alright, we chose a new pattern, and then we right click on the brass. Alright, we can use all these notes again. So let's just fill something in. Let's do it in the same rhythm as the bass. Okay. And let's repeat that first one. Okay, this is very simple. Let's paste it in and see how it sounds. Okay, go back to the playlist. Press play. can choose another sound. This is, yeah, I mean, this is not the best sound. So we can play around with this. Alright, now final touch is to add some more drums. So let's add a hi-hat. So we can add it in between the kick. So we have the kick on the one, or we can add everything. Let's do that and make it a little bit softer with the volume here. And then put a clap on the first red ones. So on the second kick and the last kick. And let's paste that in. See how it sounds. Alright, so this is our first kind of song. And if we want to export this now as an MP3 and listen to it, we can go to File and Export and then choose MP3. Just give it any name. And then select 320. The rest you can leave the same. And then just press start and it will make sure it is on full song and not on pattern. And that's it. Also important, if you didn't notice already, next to the play button, if it's on pattern, it will play your pattern. If it's on song, it will play your whole song in your playlist. That's it for now.